Let me go. Because it's recording.
It's all good.
All right. Six Prison Story family salute, y'all. It's your boy Tim Snow back here with another one. And I think this is going to be one of the better episodes I've ever did, y'all. Make sure y'all tune in. We have a special guest here. Real honored. Got a man that served 38 years in California prisons. Came out. He's living a good life right now. I mean, talking about a positive role model. Riding his bikes, doing his artwork, probably doing everything that he ever dreamed about. And he has an awesome channel. If you look right here, it says subscribe to Hard Intentions on YouTube. I'll put the description in the link. Make sure y'all go subscribe, man, because this is one of my favorite channels that I watch right here. It's actually how I found Whack Deuce and started being good friends with him and everything else. So, salute Mr. Mitch, 38 years in, Hard Intentions on YouTube. How you doing, brother?
All right, hats off to you. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm real honored, brother. Thank you so much. I look forward to doing one on your channel too. So make sure y'all subscribe again so you can watch me on his, man. We're gonna do the reverse thing. So
we're overdue.
Yeah. First thing I'm gonna ask you, Mitch. Well, I said I was gonna ask something. How long have you been doing YouTube right now? I'm just gonna act like some of these people don't know who you are, and we're gonna start at the basics. How long have you been going?
We've been on YouTube about 2 years now. Yeah.
You're doing great, man. Congratulations. That's awesome. Me too. About the same thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, so is that right? 38 years you did in prison?
Yeah, I did 38 years, 6 months and a few days, Yeah.
Yeah. What year did you start, Mitch? I don't know that. I never seen.
I got arrested April 23rd, I think, 1979.
How old were you?
I was 17.
Oh, no.
I turned 18 in the county jail fighting my case. And I went from the juvenile tank in the county jail down to a regular tank with the adults. And, party started from there.
Were you in L.A. County?
No, I was San Diego County.
San Diego. Oh, you're from San Diego. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Thank God I wasn't in L.A. County.
Yeah, I hear a lot of stories about L.A. County. Salutes OG Badger. He did a video not too long about it. Is San Diego County a little bit more laid back, not as much politics?
It was back then. I mean, there was a little politics, but the jail system was a lot smaller. L.A. County, I mean, they have might as well, they have their own prison system damn near, But San Diego County back then, we had one jail. They built a second jail. They just opened it when I was on my bus ride up to prison. So, I mean, it was a lot smaller, which leads to a lot less problems,
Absolutely. Get to know everybody a little bit better, I guess. How long did you have to do in the county?
I sat in the county jail almost about a year, almost. About 10 months, 9-10 months.
Were you in the county like I was when I was young, doing push-ups and getting ready and doing all that stuff back then?
A little bit, really, I was just kind of, because I was fighting a murder beef, man. I got 2 co-defendants and, we didn't take a deal. We had to go to jury trial. So, I mean, it was just a, daily survival type shit, not really, there wasn't a lot of politics in the tanks I was in now and then, but it was mostly like, you're hungry all the fucking time. You're trying to sleep, especially when I was going to trial, they would come and get you like 4 o'clock in the morning, put you in the holding tanks. And, it was just a fucking nightmare, man. So, county jail sucked. So I really wasn't working out in the county jail a lot. I was just trying to figure out what I was, I was talked to a lot of older cats that have been to prison already and, try to figure out what I was going to be facing. And, and I was trying to figure out my time. And, I was sentenced to 15 to life. Like when I was going to trial, man, you're kind of sleep deprived, and that's a tactic they have. They keep you in holding cells, stairwells, all fucking day long. You're burned out. You're tired. They try to get guys to take deals, So about once a week, they would call my name. They go to court, and I would give somebody a pack of cigarettes. And then when they called my name, they would go out my place, And
wow.
I get an extra couple hours of sleep, The cops would come up there and be like, get out of here. They'd be mad as hell. But, it was they have some really bad tactics, man, to break you down in the county jail. But, I had some homeboys there that been to the pen. I had, Danny Dog, rest in peace. You know, he was an ex prison gang member, and he was telling me, hey, this what's happening. You know, he gave me the straight shot on what I'd be dealing with when I got to prison, and you know what kind of hustles you can get, and what kind of hustles not to get, and what to stay away from, and you know what I was going to be dealing with. And I got 15 to life was my sentence, and back then in California, you did 2/3 of your time. So if you got sentenced to 6 years, you would do 4 years. You got 1/3 of your time off for good behavior. You know, if you got a write up, the most they could take from you back then was 45 days good time. So everyone was like, yeah, you're going to do 10 years on that 15 of life and you'll get out. And so I told my lawyer, I go, hey, I'm going to do 10 years, right? He goes, no. He says, you're going to do 10 years and then you're going to go in front of the parole board and they're going to decide whether or not to let you out. And they don't have to let you out. And that's when I realized I was kind of screwed because, you know, I'd been to youth authority a couple times prior to prison. And you know, back then I was not I was a bad actor. You know, I had bad attitude. I was, you know, I was a kid, man. I had a lot of fucking problems and I took it out on the world, you know. And so I knew that I wasn't going to be getting out in my minimum term, you know.
Did you have a paid lawyer, Mitch, or public defender?
I had it's kind of a long story, but you know, I was 17. I got busted. I went to juvenile hall. I'd been there many times before. I've been to youth authority, and this lawyer came in, and he goes, "Hey, I'm representing you." You know, I went to trial, or I went to court the next day, and so he goes, "We're going to cut you a deal. We're going to get you a deal for assault with a deadly weapon, 3 years, youth authority. You'll be out of here." And I was like, "Fuck that. I'm not taking no deal," because I didn't stab this dude. It was a bar fight. You know, I got 2 co-defendants. One of them was getting beaten up, and I jumped in to help him out. And then somebody else stabbed the guy during the course of the fight, and he died. So I was like, you know, I didn't really understand the system. But all I knew is I didn't stab this dude, so I wasn't going to take no fucking deals. I didn't know that the juvenile court judge used to be a lawyer that my mom worked for. She was his secretary when he was a lawyer. Now he was a juvenile court judge, and he contacted this public defender that he knew to set this deal up for me. And I didn't know any of this shit was going on. You know, I just, you know, it was the very next day after I got arrested, and they're hitting me with this deal. I was like, fuck that. I'm not taking a deal. I want to be tried as an adult.
They offered you the 3? Wow.
Yeah. So I went over to county jail, you know, from there. So my lawyer was public defender, but he was a friend of this judge, you know, that plugged me into the guy. So.
Yeah. I actually had something happen like that before, where I had the right public defender, man, believe it or not. And it was somebody that's real close to my grandmother actually made a phone call and was like, "Can you get this boy a little bit better lawyer?" And it actually worked one time, believe it or not. I still had to go to prison, but I didn't, you know, I got a good deal, like you said. How about that? So, man, that's unbelievable, brother. I bet all them years you were mad at yourself about that one, wasn't you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Because when I got to the county jail, the deal was 2nd-degree murder for one of my co-defendants, which is 15 to life, and then manslaughter for me and the other guy. They offered us a manslaughter, which was 6 years, no life. So I would have done 4 years, but it was a package deal. All 3 of us had to take the deal or no deal, unless you wanted to testify, and you know, testifying's out of the question. So.
Right. I was going to ask you, like, listen, did your 2 co-defendants, all 3 of y'all, stay okay? Everything was good, like later on, you know?
Not really, no.
No.
You know, I said before on another channel, you know, like, you know, committing felonies with people, and especially murder, you know, robbery, murder, all that kind of shit, or any crime that involves, you know, high amounts of money. You know, you would think that being involved with criminal activity with somebody would build a bond between you a little tighter, but in all actuality, it doesn't. You know, criminal behavior is not the best way to build friendships and bonds with people, positive bonds, you know.
It's not. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, that's the real truth. When I was doing all this crime, you were doing that and everything. You know, while when I was young, is we're not living. We might be good men or good people at the time, but we're not living that best life or thinking clearly or something. I don't know how to explain. We're not thinking clearly at that time. You know what I mean? So it goes for everybody, even our co-defendants and stuff like that, man. So I was wondering about that, but wow. So it could have took the 3. I'm feeling that you're now aggravated as hell probably on your first day to prison. When you catch that chain bus and they've kind of warned you about politics and everything like that. What was it like stepping into, I guess, intake? You went to intake?
Yeah, we go to Chino from Southern California. They had 2 reception centers in California. Vacaville was up north, and then Chino Prison was a reception center, and they had lower level main lines there. But so I went to Chino. And you pull up this dock, and there's like a grill gate, you know, and this dock, it's up off the ground about 5 feet, and they walk up the stairs, and you're on this big loading dock. They close the gates, you know, and everyone's in a circle around a trash can, and you strip butt naked, and you throw all your shit in a trash can. Whatever you bring with you from county jail goes in that trash can. You know, other than medication, I think they let you keep 10 photographs, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember, but pretty much everything you have goes in that trash can. You're not supposed to bring anything with you from the county jail. And so they strip you out, run you through a shower, give you a set of clothes, and toss you in a holding cell. And then they call you out one by one. You go up this big counter, and they had inmate prisoner clerks. All the clerks were prisoners, you know, and they would type, you know, what's your religion, what's your date of birth, everything. You know, they type all your personal information into this reception, into your file, right? And they're all prisoners, and they got your file right there, so they know what
no secrets. They know what you did. They know what every man.
Yeah. They know what you're in prison for. They know how much time you got. They know what county you came from. They know how many times you've been to prison. Everything. So, you know, if you got a bad case, before you get to your cell block, you know, that people are going to, of course, I didn't know any of this shit at the time. I was just 18 years old, you know, by the time I got to prison. And so I get processed in, you know, and they shoot me down to a cell. And, you know, I was in a cell by myself, single cell, the way the cells were set up, you know, and I thought, man, this is fucking bullshit, you know.
No, you didn't. Listen, when you first hit that process on the intake right there, are they politicking in that place right there, or everybody's so new?
Oh yeah. You know, like I was in a unit where one cell's an upper bunk, and then the next cell's a lower bunk, like that. So they're single cell, you know, and they sent me down there because I was a kid, you know. But the next day, they start, you know, I want to go to the yard. I want to go out and play handball. I want to lift weights. You know, I want to do my shit, you know. And so I've been in the county jail almost a year. And so they send me down this classroom to do a process, you know, like intake shit, you know, like testing, what grade level you're at, what's your psychological evaluation, all this other stuff, right? And they're telling me, and they got prisoners, you know, inmates in there doing the classes. They're permanent work crew guys. They live in their own unit in the reception center. They got a lot of perks for being there, right? And the guy says, yeah, you're going to be in here for 3 days doing these tests. And, you know, I got up and give him my paperwork and shit. I go, man, fuck these tests, you know. I'm not doing no fun. I'm not sitting in here for 3 fucking days. I want to go to the yard, you know. And he goes, all right. So he tells the cop, you know, hey, this guy don't want to take the test, whatever. And they send me out to Chino's a big main corridor with buildings coming off of it. So I go out in the corridor, and this sergeant goes, oh, you want to be an asshole, huh? You know, and I didn't realize I was in a pretty kickback unit, you know, whatever. And so they rolled me up out of my cell, and they put me in another unit that was still coming off lockdown for a stabbing, you know.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I guess some white dudes had stabbed some black dudes in that unit before I got there, and they were still slammed, and they were slowly releasing them. So that was my punishment for being an asshole and not wanting to take their tests and shit, you know.
And you know what I want to say, Mitch, man, for real, because you white guys out there in California don't play, man. I swear, I'm not going to disrespect any white man here in Texas, But the stories that we hear about y'all, these guys here, you can't disrespect them. You can't
froze.
steal from them. Uh-oh. Can you see me? I can see you good. Oh, shit. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I think that might have, I don't know which one it was. But listen, what I was going to say is the guys here, you can't disrespect them. You can't. They won't take any BS from you or anything like that, but they're so highly outnumbered that they don't push the line too hard like that. You're never going to hear, it's going to be real rare you hear about a white guy stabbing a black. You know what I'm saying? And they're
really
here. Yeah, it's going to be interracial violence here in Texas is not that common. It's going to be.
So what are the, like, how many white guys are there, like, on a unit? Like, if there's like let's just say there's like 400 or 500 guys on a unit, how many of them would be white?
We had a 200-man wing and we had less than 20 white guys.
Yeah. Lancaster Prison was like that. I live in a 200-man building. All the newer prisons, they got 200 guys in a unit, and there was 20 white dudes in there. So we were outnumbered pretty bad. Lancaster Prison is predominantly, blacks, because by Los Angeles County, Well,
see, when I went to the feds here in Texas, that we was on a 120-man wing where there were 32, 33 blacks usually. It was 32 and then me. I was 33 against like 87 of whites and Hispanics. And they literally do have the pack there to go against the blacks. So it's pretty much.
But California whites are outnumbered, pretty much everywhere you go. There's a couple prisons like, High Desert Prison is up in the mountains in Northern California, and all the cops are white, and most of the prison population is white. But for the most part, whites are outnumbered in California as well,
All right, so I'm going to stay on track a little bit, and we're going to get to that because I got some questions. But I just wanted to give y'all respect out there, man, because we hear about y'all pushing that line every time it's needed. You know what I mean? And that's for real. But listen, when you first got to prison and looked around and realized, holy shit, we're way outnumbered here. How'd that feel? Like, did you know that coming in, or did you realize it later?
I knew that coming in because I'd done time in youth authority, and youth authority was pretty much the same way. I lived in units with, 4 or 5 white dudes and, 30, 40 blacks and 20, 30 Mexicans. We always got the short end of the stick, but I mean, you're fighting all the time, and, it's just the way it is. So when you get to prison, I was used to that part, but, I lasted about 2 weeks and I got a stabbing, on another race. I've said before, it's probably the stupidest thing I did in prison.
2 weeks you stab somebody?
Yeah, it was the first stabbing. That was my first ride up in prison, was for stabbing another guy.
What would happen to you back then? Was it an administrative punishment, or was it actually you had to go back and get re-indicted and all that stuff?
No, I didn't. Unless they got a couple of guys who want to testify against you. It's just, they deal with it. You get a 115, you get a write up, you get a shoot term, all that shit.
Yeah.
I did a few years, I did like 4 years in the shoe for that, 4.5 years in the shoe, but you learn. I'm going to say like the racial politics between the blacks and the whites from the time I went to prison on really got a lot better. I never, ever really had problems with black inmates from that time on, really.
Listen, let me back up real quick. Listen, when you stabbed a man, I mean, what was going through your mind afterwards? I'm assuming you went to lockdown. Was you thinking, oh, man, my white brothers are about to get in trouble over there, or they're going to get me when I come out, or were you planning on stabbing enough? I know you're young.
Because I went to the shoe, and then I ended up going to San Quentin, and, just, you do what you got to do because you think you got to survive, I was young. I didn't really know how to manipulate, politic, whatever the fuck you want to call it, how to converse with people, to work problems out. Because I was young, and I've been to youth authority, and I grew up in a violent neighborhood where fighting's cool and all that shit, And so, I mean, I grew up around bikers, and so that's the deal, So I hadn't developed the cognitive function yet to figure out, hey, I got a problem with this guy, I'm going to work it out. And then if you can't work it out, then you go to the next level. It would just, you just go there,
How long do you think it took you? How long do you think it took you? At what age did you develop that where you was really convicting and politicking like a professional?
It didn't take long, 2 or 3 years. But you get better at it as time goes on. By the time I got out of prison, I just say, hey, fuck you, because you realize most of the guys in prison now, especially on the lower levels, they're not going to bust a grape, And then I also had, my last, 5 or 10 years of prison, I had a lot of homeboys around me that wanted to see me get out. And, I had knives on the yard and in the building I lived in. And it's like, if somebody makes me go there, I'm going to stab them. Fuck it. I'll just kill you.
Yeah.
So, but, when I'm younger, you start to realize, man, that, it's really difficult for a guy from one race to have a problem with a guy from another race and confront him and deal with him. I had friends in prison that did that. Back in the 80s, man, prison was it was a rough thing, man. There were guys getting stabbed and killed on a daily basis in California prison, and so there were some racial problems, but overall, you have problems with your own race most of the time, like it's especially like I'm not a guy that likes to sit around and do without. So I figure out a little hustle. I was involved with illegal activities. My friends that schooled me on how to live in prison were older, been in prison, some of them since like 1970. And so, you start having things that other people want and they start politicking on you. And that's when you start figuring out how life is in there, and it's sad to say, but, white dudes are rough on their own, in California prisons.
I mean, I like that. Man, I was watching, shout out to Chad Marks, Blood on the Razor Wire, because I was watching an interview with him 2 days ago that he did with a guy from the USP. And the USPs in the federal system is basically like a mean, ugly level 4 in California. They run the same politics, exactly the same. You'll have California gang members. You'll have Texas gang members,
right?
Some Midwest gang members, like really ABT, the brand. Everybody's there together. It's a big mixing pot. And they were talking about the same thing, how a lot of them would feed off each other, man. They would take out a white guy to avoid problems with the blacks, you know what I'm saying? Or problems with the Mexicans and stuff. But I've seen every race do it. I wanted to tell them that, hey, I've seen every race do that, not just the white guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I don't like speaking on other races. I can just speak for my own. But in general, that's what happens. Other race people prey on their own, and part of it in California is so like if you got some weak dudes on the yard, they're a liability, especially in a level 4 prison. If some guy's walking around like Willie Lump Lump, he's a liability. Sometimes guys will run him off the yard. And if a guy's doing shit with illegal activity, whatever it might be, then people, they want some,
Yeah. What I've seen with all Woods and everything that I've seen, though, they were the most hardcore, not even giving their guys a second chance. It's like, little, you learn the rules the first time, you're not getting a second chance. The Mexican guys would give them 2 chances, and the black guys might give them 5 chances. Try like hell not to run them off. You know what I mean? But if it gets serious, you get them 2. But you think that's a tactic because you're the minority, like you said. You need nothing but hardcore men. You know what I'm saying? And you don't.
Well, I mean, that's part of it, and part of it too is like this guy might not like somebody for whatever reason. Maybe the guy had a sack of dope one time and he didn't kick him down, or whatever. And so the guy's hating on him anyway. So as soon as he fucks up, I heard, some guy on one of these channels said, you're only as good as your first mistake or your last mistake. It's easy to sit around and take inventory on other people. And when guys don't like somebody, they'll politic on them with their homeboys. And the guy won't even know what's happening. Next thing you know, he's got a knife hanging out his neck or stuck out his back, And part of it too is, you gotta have guys on the yard that are not a liability. Like, I remember when I was in Lancaster, I had a cell. He was a little bitty guy, and we had a problem with the blacks. It got worked out, but we have mandatory yard and shit. And And he goes, I'm a Christian, but I got to go out there. I said, yeah, you got to go out there, And he was a little bitty dude. And he came up to me and this guy, Rick, he goes, so what do I do? And this guy, Rick, told me, you just stand right by me. Wherever I go, you just stay right by my side. And that's what he did, And then, he was there. He showed up for the party. And, fortunately, shit got worked out. And, but I mean, you don't have to be a killer, to make it. You can be a regular fucking guy. You've seen some of the guys I interview on my channel. They're just regular dudes that go to prison. They fuck up, but they learn real quick how to live in there. And they don't present themselves as tough guys and killers. But when you got to be on the yard, you got to be on the yard. And they show up and people respect that,
What would y'all do to one if he didn't show up? He stayed in the cell or something. What's going to happen to him?
Well, I could tell you we had a riot in Lancaster when I was there. It was 120 Southsiders to 11 white dudes. And
oh, shit.
This old man got fucked up pretty bad because some youngster ran and left him hanging. So when we came out, this friend of mine, Timmy, I seen him with a knife. I go, what are you going to do with that, brother? He goes, I'm going to show these fucking dope fiends how prison's supposed to be. And that dude that cut and run on that old man, he ran up and stabbed him about 10 or 15 times in his stomach and chest from the front,
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's, you just don't do that,
Hell no, man. That's the one thing about it. People don't understand is when you're, like you said, listen, you might not build a real rapport with people doing crime, but you will doing time. Day after day, you start to actually learn people, start to know them. You might even know his damn wife's name or something. And then here comes some dope-fiend dude running off on them. No, that ain't okay. Never. And so it was 120 against 11. Are you serious? That's crazy.
Yeah. California is, I tell people California is the most liberal state in the country, but it's also the most racist state in the country.
Right.
And it is, and California prison system is very racially separated. That doesn't mean I can't see some dude on the yard who's black or northerner, Mexican, Asian, whatever, and talk to him. Like, you don't sell up with them. You don't eat with them. Unless they do forced seating in the chow hall, you don't eat with them. You definitely don't smoke and drink after them and hang out and kick it at the canteen line.
Right.
They're just lines that you don't cross.
Texas, when they desegregated Texas, they made everybody. Well, first they desegregated the cell blocks, but they had black cellies with black cellies. Then they integrated the cells. They literally forced people in Texas to take a different racial cellie. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that was a big deal. I got an actual story with my friend Gary when that happened. That there were a lot of people causing problems, saying, "I don't want to sell with these white guys. I don't want to sell with these black guys."
Yeah, you're out.
Oh shit. I think you froze up. Is it me? Damn. Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay. No, but yeah, they made them do that in Texas to stop that. You know what I mean? Caused a lot of problems, but I think towards the end, it helped people start understanding each other a little bit better and started letting people mix up quite a bit where hey, in public, you're not allowed to talk to this guy or whatever, but when y'all close in at night or y'all on a 6-month lockdown, you'll probably share a soup with them or something when ain't nobody looking. You know what I mean? It's just human nature.
Well, they tried that in California. There was this big black homosexual dude named Purple Passion. That guy was bigger than me, big ass weightlifter, but he was weak as puppy piss, man. He wanted to sell up with some white queer, and he filed a lawsuit, and the federal courts tried to force California to integrate the cells, and it just it was a
big mess.
Yeah, it was a mess. So for whites, you can't refuse to go in the cell. When they were trying that, they came around and said, they had paperwork, and I'm like, I'm not selling up with another race, and I just told them, hey, I'm not selling up with a gang member, because almost everybody from another race is a gang member,
Right.
But if they did try to put some white dudes in the cells with other races, and as soon as they step through the door, they got to get off, So
man, that's crazy. Yeah, that's
just the way it is. So that didn't last long. Now I don't know how it is on the S&Y yards. I heard that them dudes interracially sell, which probably gave CDC a way out. Like if some federal investigators came to see how the integration was going, they could take them to an S&Y yard and show them.
So, yeah.
But on the GP yards, it was not happening, you know.
Let's get this. Let me let you say this. 38 years, no S&Y, none of that.
No.
I know it. I know it. I know it. I just wanted to get you to say it on
Parole
video.
from a mainline prison, you know.
Respect to that. Hey, but when we end this, my little daughter, I'm not going to say his name on the video because I don't know what he's got going on, but my daughter has a great uncle that's doing life right now at San Quentin, and he's been there for a long time. You might even know the guy, man. I'd like to ask you about that. Don't forget to let me ask you about that.
Yeah, before we sign off, you know.
Yes, sir. But so this listen, what I'm saying. You went to San Quentin, your first prison, already having stabbed somebody in intake. I mean, how did the white guys take you there? But they were like, holy shit, we got a live wire firecracker, or what they telling you?
Man, you know, I knew some of them, and you know, like put it this way, I went to they put me in a cell. I was still in the hole. San Quentin used to publish a newspaper every week, you know, San Quentin News, and they would have all the incidents that happened in the prison the previous week. And so there was one in the cell. There's nothing in the cell. It's a mattress, a pillow, you know, and this San Quentin newspaper. So I open it up. It's got 2 murders, 4 or 5. It says, you know, 10 shots fired, inmate stabbed 14 times. Then they had a murder. Then they had another murder I remember distinctly because some friends of mine, I found out later, did it. Guy got stabbed with a screwdriver and beat with a hammer. They found him in his cell dead. That's the first thing I read in the San Quentin newspaper my first day there. So I was like, dude, you know, what kind of fucking world but I'd already seen some murders, but I just thought, man, this is, you know, this isn't real shit.
Right? Yeah, oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, like I said, I've seen a dude killed before I went up there. He was playing pinochle, and, you know, some dudes that they passed away since then, you know, they're prison gang dudes. They stabbed him in the neck, in the back, and killed him. You know, he died. Cut a jugular vein out, popped his heart. So, you know, like I said, I grew up fighting and shit and, you know, whatever, rough and tumble, you know, tough guy, all that bullshit, biker shit. You know, but when you get to prison, you know, I was a kid. And, you know, when you're a kid, it's kind of hard to be honest with yourself. But looking back, you know, you know, it's kind of confusing. It's frightening. And it causes a lot of anxiety, you know, and stress. So you're living in a,
I'll tell you what was a wake-up call for me, brothers. I thought there was going to be this big honor system in prison where everybody actually did like they were supposed to be and that you hear about. I didn't know that all that backstabbing stuff could happen and all that cross-politicking and all that. What was the first example you seen that showed you, man, this place is bad, messed up? Like you maybe seen one of your own people get taken out or something. What do you remember?
Oh, well, you know, just seeing murders and shit. But I mean, like, you know, there's a story like the dude I seen get killed. I found out later that, you know, he went from one prison to another and he was causing problems with another race. And he brought a kite with him, you know, to give to somebody. And he gave him the kite, and the kite was his own hit. Oh, basically, it'd be like you bringing me a kite from somebody up in San Quentin telling me to kill you, and you brought it to me.
Did he not even read the damn kite, or what happened?
I don't know what, but he passed that kite on, and they killed him. And I just thought that was some scandalous shit. But you know, I seen guys, you know, I seen guys stabbed over bullshit. Like, you know, I remember this dude, he told his buddies, you know, I didn't fuck with him, but, you know, you're always in the loop. You know, you get to the point where you realize you got to know what's going on around you. You got to know who's got drugs, who's buying drugs, who's in debt, who's gang member, who's a prison gang member, who's in this, that. You know, you got to know what's going on around you. Who's mad at who, you know, so you got your group of friends and they share information with each other. So you're all kind of up on what's going on the yard and shit. So anyway, I knew this dude was getting a package and he told his homeboys, yeah, I'm getting some weed and I'm going to get, you know, a bunch of heroin. They're like, yeah, cool. So he got his package and he broke them off like a couple ounces of weed. And they're like, hey, where's the heroin at? He goes, I didn't get that much, so I just shot it. That's why I gave it a weed. Like, all right, cool. We're going to kill you.
Damn.
They told me, we're going to kill you. So he locked up, you know. He PC'd up. He went over to AdSeg.
You think he was telling the truth? Did he have some stash up, or did he really just have a little bit in use?
I don't know. I think he didn't want to give up his heroin. You know, nobody, you know, dope fiends don't like to give up. For me and my friends, we used to snort crack and smoke weed and drink, you know. Life was a party. But you guys that shoot heroin, that's, you know, that's a whole different thing, you know.
Yeah,
they don't like to give up. But
they're greedy, they're steal, they'll do all kind of shitty shit.
Yeah, you know, when they got a sack of dope, they don't want to pinch out none of their friends. They want to shoot it all. So anyway, he locked up. He went over to AdSeg in another section. So, you know, they shot him a kite. You know, they said, hey, we can't get to you. You know, he was short to the house. He was only a few months to the house. And they said, we can't get to you, but we can get to your family. And they had his wife's address in the kite. And they told him, you know, we're going to kill your wife and daughter.
Holy shit.
And the dude hung himself that night, killed himself.
Oh, my God. You think
they
really going to get his wife, or you think it was just a threat?
I don't know. You know, I mean, bottom line was he wasn't going to take that chance. And, you know, he just, you know, he killed himself, you know.
Man, you know what? I got to give him some type of weird respect for that, man.
But I mean, them dudes were supposed to be his friends, you know?
Yeah, that's fucked up, man. That's that dirty shit right there. Unbelievable. Because he didn't want to share his dope, huh, man?
Well, he kicked him down a couple ounces of weed. It ain't like he didn't want to share. He just didn't want to share that heroin, you know?
Right, right. I got a question for you that I've been wondering that since I've seen you first. You know, we get a lot of, well, I don't got to say any names or anything, but we get a lot of shit out here in Texas about the prison gangs out there, the white gang and all that and everything. They're powerful. When you was young, coming into the system, did you have a goal like, man, I'm finna join one of these gangs and get some rank, or did you just like, shit, no, I'm trying to stay out and go home in 10 years? Because a lot of young people,
yeah, I'm a biker, so I hung around motorcycle guys. I hung around dudes who were in bike clubs. You know, California prisons, there's not that many bikers, and most of the white dudes that are not bikers, you know, they kind of look down on motorcycle outlaws. We don't, you know, I mean, they don't actively just disrespect you, but it's like, you know, it's a whole different crew, you know. And so guys from different motorcycle clubs that really don't get along all that well in the street will get along in prison.
That was my next question. Will the bike gangs will group up and make a car so they have numbers?
Well, I mean, it's not like they, you know, it's just like they, you know, they respect each other and they hang out with each other. Like I had two friends that were, one of them's in a bike club, and the other one grew up around this bike club in Oakland and shit. And so I go up their cell, you know, and they would, one side of the cell would be one color and the other side of the cell would be another color. You know, I mean, they just celled up together because they had mutual respect for each other. And you know, that's and so cool. Those are the dudes that I gravitated to, and those are the dudes that schooled me on how to live in there. You know, thank God. You know, like my wife says, "Oh, them dudes are like a surrogate dad to you." You know, and in some ways they were. You know, it's more of a, like I say, you know, for us, you know, drugs are for making money and having fun. And if you're not having fun, you're not making money, and you're still fucking with drugs, and you're just a fucking dope fiend.
Thanks.
And you know, that's not us. So I mean. You know, we could have a good time sitting in a cell having a cup of coffee and bullshitting about motorcycles, or we could have a good time, you know, snorting a pile of crank and smoking weed and whatever. I mean, we're there to have fun, make money, and be comfortable. If you want to join a prison gang, when you go to prison, you have to actively want to do that. And I never had no desire to commit myself. You know, I reached a point where I decided, hey, I'm never going to get out of prison, but I wasn't going to do anything to actively, you know, make that happen. I wasn't going to do anything that would allow the parole board to say, hey, you did this, so we're not letting you out.
Right. You were smart.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'd rather sit around my cell and paint, do my artwork, and listen to music than sit in a fucking hole with nothing. With a jumpsuit.
Me too. Mitch, you got any of your artwork right there in the garage with you?
Yeah, I got that back. That's one of my prints, and then I'm working on this. This is a little coyote paint I'm working on. Let's see. I'm working on that for somebody. And then these are prints of my art. I don't know if you can see that. That's a print on canvas, and I put them on boards. That's another one of my paintings. I did.
That's beautiful, man. Yeah, I just got you. I got you single screen so they can see it good. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So my bad. I just wanted to make sure I get that in. And Mitch does sell these, y'all. You can order stuff from him, custom things and everything. So listen,
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip ahead real quick, Mitch. 10 years in, when you come up for your first parole date, what happened? What they tell you? How'd you feel?
Well, I went through my board hearing and shit, and then they're like, "Hey, they told me I didn't finish my milling cabinet trade. You know, they want you to have therapy, which I took all. I went to Vacaville. They had psychotherapy programs for lifers, category T. I did all that shit. I had some issues in the milling cabinet shop, so I quit. So they go, hey, you might be a great woodworker, but we don't know that because we don't have any documentation that you finished your vocational trade. So they denied me a year. No, 2 years.
Set you off for 2 years.
Yeah, and they told me back then, whatever the board said, that's what, they said, we want you to go to DVI and Tracy and finish your milling cabinet. So I was like, fuck you. I want to go back to San Quentin. So I went back to San Quentin. And as soon as I got there, they go, welcome to San Quentin. You're going to Folsom. I'm like, what's up? They go, we're making this a level 2. That's when they started building all the new prisons out here, and they had New Folsom. So they sent like 450 guys out of San Quentin over to New Folsom. So I went over there, and
so you opened up the prison when it first opened?
No, I went there a few years later. I went there the end of '88, beginning of '89. And so, yeah, the board denied me because I didn't finish my trade. And then I went to Tracy. New Folsom kind of sucks. So I filed a grievance. It's called a 602 form. I said, the board wants me to go to Tracy and finish my trade. So the board rules kind of prevailed. I got sent to Tracy because I had level 4 points and Tracy was a level 3/level 4,
Right.
I went there, finished my trade, and went back to board, and they denied me again, So, but I had gotten married, had a wife, had family visits. They had a nice hobby shop there in Tracy. They had good. I worked in the wood factory. Once I finished my vocational milling cabinet, I went and got a job in prison industry, wood factory. I hung out in Tracy for about 5 years,
Let me ask you a real question here, man, because as you literally said you made up your mind that you might not go home. Did time get easier or did it get harder as you got into your sentence?
It depends on where you were, Tracy, I have a friend, he's out now. He's in a motorcycle club. He did quite a lot of time. He's about 80 years old now, but he's out. I told him, hey, bro, I don't think they're ever going to let us out. And he looked at me and goes, I think you're right. And so I was still partying and shit, I ended up going to Donovan and Corcoran and shit. And but when I quit using drugs when I was in Corcoran. I don't have nothing against weed. A guy wants to have a beer, whatever. But I quit. I flushed a 1/4 ounce of crank. I said, man, I'm fucking done,
Wow.
I wasn't having any fun and the money was too risky, so I quit. And once I got clean, then I went to Lancaster Prison. I got a job in Arts and Corrections. I just started focusing on my artwork, started doing some stuff in the chapel. And that's when things really, that period in my life was kind of fucked. I was like, you know what? I would just say, this is what I'm doing. This is, we had Governor Davis said, if you got a life sentence for murder, you're going to parole in a pine box. So I would sit at home in the cell and just pray for death sometimes. Like, man, just end this shit, It just seemed like death was going to be my only way out of prison,
Mitch, my big brother got a 50-year sentence here. And he actually was eligible for parole in 6.5 years, and the local police department protested his parole, which is almost something that never happens here.
Yeah.
And he literally realized he was going to die in prison when that happened. You know what I mean? And my brother gave up physically, mentally, spiritually, everything, man. He just started gaining weight, just started laying around, and it broke him, man. Like, I believe he was praying for the same thing, and God answered it for him. You know what I mean? He like literally, my brother wrote me a letter saying that he loved me. He was sorry that we weren't close no more, and that he would like for us to get closer again and for me to write him back. And you know what, Mitch? I didn't even write him back. And 2 weeks later, I got a call. They said he passed away. I'm like, holy shit. I should have wrote him. Yeah, I should have wrote him back, man. But I found out later what happened. He had literally gained so much weight. He was having heart problems. He stood up. I ain't really even talked about this ever on my channel. He stood up in the middle of the night on his cell to take a leak, Mitch. Dove head first into the toilet. And his cellie got up and gave him CPR, man. Like, that's something that men in prison ain't gonna put their mouth on another man too often, even if he's dying. And his cellie really did give him CPR, chest compressions, try to see like my brother. You know what I mean? So I know that's a hell of a fucking feeling right there. So
I'm sorry to hear about that, man.
It's all good. It's all good, man. It's still hard to deal with, but you know, it's see, when things like this happen, we can deal with it a lot better. But I gotta watch my mom and people like that as kids still go on. You know what I mean? That's the hard part. So I don't know. It kind of sucks, but. How many times did you actually go up for parole and get denied before you told that man, hey, we're probably never going home?
I went to board 14 times, but I had 9 hearings that I didn't go to.
You skipped them?
Yeah, I just told them I wasn't going. You know, like I said, you know, I used to pray for death, man, and then I'd realize, you know what, I'm just gonna ride this out, you know. I thought the worst thing that's going to happen to me is I'm going to die in prison. And so, you know, the best thing that's going to happen to me is I'm going to die in prison. So, I mean, I could just sit around and be fucking miserable and pray for death, or the alternative, you know, I focused on my artwork. I collected as much fucking music as I could. I always tried to have the best music system that I could get, because I dig music and I dig my art. And, you know, I had a little religious stuff going on, and I just focused on that, you know, and I write letters to our daughter once in a while. And, you know, my wife and I got divorced. I'm like, hey, you know, I'm never getting out, so go live your life. You know, I just focused on being comfortable, trying to catch a good meal. You know, the food got pretty shitty in prison. So whenever a guy could get a decent, get his grub on, that was cool.
Small things became very, very big rewards, don't they?
Yeah. You know, I found pleasure in some small shit, like doing I did those paintings I just showed you when I was in prison. So that's what I focused on. You know, I love motorcycles. So I started doing motorcycle art, and that's where my head was when I was doing it. I was there on that motorcycle, riding that bike, you know, and, you know, I'd go out and walk laps and chat with. And, you know, prison had gotten to the point that by now I'm on level 2. You know, like when I was in San Quentin, I started selling tobacco. You know, even though I said, hey, I'm clean and sober. You know, I was sober, but I wasn't clean. I still had a fucked up attitude, you know. Right. So I was selling tobacco, and, yeah, I got told on, you know, and I got transferred out of San Quentin level 2 over to Soledad. And, you know, one of my friends told me, hey, bro, the reason that happened is because you're sober, but you're not clean. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, and he's like, you know, you still got that stinking thinking from the past, and you haven't, you know, given yourself over 100% to your higher power. You know, at first I was like, yeah, fuck that dude. You know, he's full of shit. But then I realized he was right. You know, I was sober, but I still had a fucked up attitude, you know, and, you know, I was an asshole for a long time, you know, like when I was in San Quentin, guys would be going to college and shit, and I'd tell them, hey, what do you think they're going to let you out because you go get yourself a San Quentin education? You're going to die in here, motherfucker, just like me. Right. You know, guys hated me for that. You know,
that's what I'm telling you. You don't want to tell a man. You know, it might start a damn fight about that.
But those are the same fucking dudes that told on me for selling tobacco, you know? So, I mean, they do shit behind your back they won't do to your face, you know?
Absolutely.
So after that, I just realized, you know, that's when dudes started going home. you know, and I just realized, hey, you know, these dudes that are coming into prison now, I was surrounded by some real shit bags. You know, guys that had no problem fucking selling you out for nothing, you know, over a cigarette.
Right.
Motherfuckers told on me because they couldn't get a cigarette. Cost me 5 years at the parole board, you know, so.
That's the type of dirty shit I was talking about. I couldn't believe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you literally, you deny fronting somebody a cigarette, and he might go tell on you, drop a kite on you. It's chicken shit, man. It's like not the world everybody thinks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, not only that, I was sitting in the hole. I sat in the hole for 5 months, and they transferred me to Soledad. But I told my counselor one time, he's on the tier. I go, how come I can't go back to the cell block? And he started laughing. He goes, all them dudes told on you. They don't want you back in the cell block.
Fuck, that's crazy.
You know, I got the Soledad dudes that pilferage through my art supplies, all my fucking shit. You know, they steal your property. The cops let them steal your shit because you ain't coming back.
Mitch, what year did they start that S&Y out there? It wasn't there when you started, right?
Oh yeah, they've had S&Ys for quite a long time now, and now the yards are mixed. But yeah, I mean they've been doing that for a while. But I mean, guys will they will fuck you over, man, because you got something they want and you ain't sharing it with them. They will tell on you. They will fuck you around. They'll politic behind your back and get you stabbed if you're in a higher level prison. You know, San Quentin really pissed me off because there were guys that have been down 25, 30, 35 years or longer. And, you know, they were acting like little fucking bitches, you know? I mean, they were telling on motherfuckers, you know, backbiting, little bitch shit. You know, I'm like, man, well, look what prison did to these guys, you know?
Right. It wore them down, man. Breaks you down mentally. Have you ever seen anybody this cold go insane because of the time? You know what I'm saying? I know I have. There's been some cuckoo crazy people at that time breaks them down.
I've seen guys lose it. You know, they get weird. You know, but you know, I mean, I don't know, man.
Mitch, one of the guys that one of my young homies, man, one of the young Crip homies, they told him that his grandma died. And he literally snatched the keys from the guard and climbed all 3 tiers on the outside of the building and was making weird noises and shit. And had to go to the damn mental hospital, bro. Literally broke down. His grandma was his only support in life. He has a, I think it's like a 35 or 45 year bid that he's got to do half on, at least half on. He just lost his only commissary, his only letters, only everything. And it broke him down, man. And he was a strong man. Just straight snapped him, man. So that was unbelievable. Man, it's hard to believe, but
I've seen guys snap. I mean, they got, the mental health system in California prison system's kind of fucked up. But, I've seen guys like one time they brought this black dude out of the 5th tier in San Quentin. And I'm like, what's up? I knew the nurse, her brother was kind of a gangster on the street. And this guy was standing at the bars in front of the cell. In his cell, he said he could see his arms going. He had like dental floss or something. And he was going like this. And he had wrapped it around his penis, and he cut his penis off with dental floss,
Oh my God!
He said he saw him standing there and just see his penis fall on the ground, And this nurse was crying. She was like, she ended up quitting her job, but guy cut his own penis off, nuts. So this guy was a regular dude, and that was his cellie. They just, it's like that ain't cool, But in California for white dudes, mental health program is a no.
No, I heard that. Listen, I heard a story about a guy that tweaked out and woke up and some shit like that, and then tried to get right back out of it, and it didn't go too good for him. You know what I mean?
What's happened in California is guys they would drop out of their prison gang because they had other gangs start up and whatever. Once they locked up certain guys, other guys started new shit. So these guys would drop out, and they go to S&Y and they realize, hey, I don't want to be here. So they would go to EOP, which is extended outpatient. It's a high-powered nut program. And then they work their way down to triple CMS, mental health system, and then back out to a mainline. And they would come back through the mental health program. So if somebody said, I thought this and that about this guy or that guy, they'd go, no, I just went EOP,
Right.
So they started realizing guys were coming back to the main line that had locked up through the mental health system. So they just started whacking dudes that came from the mental health system, you know. And that was that. Are you still there? A certain prison through mental health, you're getting stabbed.
Wow. Yeah, that was a sneaky move they were doing. Did you ever see any of your friends take off the SNY and you didn't know why, or just like the next day they're gone or something? I've seen a couple people do that before. Like literally, they're there.
I've seen guys do it.
Gone.
You know, guys that I knew on the yard. I've seen guys check in like that. You know.
Me too. It got kind of bad when I was in. I went to the feds when I was older than when I was younger. I went to TDC down here. It was extremely hard because we don't have an SNY or anything like that. We got something they call safekeeping, where literally if you check in, they just move you to another wing on the other end of the prison, and you're literally pretty much down there with the homosexuals, the people that told, the low lifes of the prison. They consider that anybody that's not a stand up guy as the prison situation goes, and you'll be down there with them. And basically here it's just a bad shame. Like everybody sees you walking around with these people and stuff, and you're just dead. They might, as long as you didn't rat and telling everybody, then they'll leave you alone and they'll just X you out and you're just no good no more. You got to live with that feeling. You know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy, but man, so listen, you 14 paroles and you skipped 9. Yeah. When you skipped them 9, you didn't have no faith in hell that you was going home, did you?
No, I did not. I was just like, they're not letting me out, so what's the point?
Yeah.
I mean, I got to where I would just refuse to sign the paperwork, nothing. I just tell my counselor, hey, I'm not participating,
When you got that answer back that said you're going home, did you believe it at first?
Yeah. Well, I was towards the end of my term, I got valley fever, which is a fungus that's in the soil out here in California, certain areas. And next to Soledad, they made a winery. That fungus gets disturbed, gets in the air, you breathe it, gets in your lungs, and it activates. So I got valley fever. It's called Coxy. It's got a big, long scientific name. So they sent me over to CMC West Yard, which is, the federal government. The courts took over California medical because every week somebody was dying from lack of medical treatment in California prison system. The courts ordered California to lower their prison population. It's down to about half of what it once was. We had almost 180,000 guys in prison in California. We had the 3rd biggest prison population in the world in California. So because of medical, the feds took over, started releasing guys. And so I went to CMC West, which is dorm living. And, I had a couple of good homeboys there. I hated dorm living, guys that are going home.
It's the worst. It's the hardest time ever, isn't it, man?
Yeah, it's the worst time I did my whole term. And you get the guys that are going home in a couple of years, they're the worst guys to live around because they don't give a fuck and it causes a lot of problems. Unfortunately. So when I was there for a couple of years, I got in a couple scrapes, but guys were going home. And excuse me, I'm looking at my paintbrushes.
Are you okay? You're okay. I'm the one over here messing up, disconnecting and doing all kind of stuff. We're definitely we'll close it up pretty soon because we're going an hour. But I want to ask you a few questions that I've been wondering before we close it up, though, for sure. Listen, one thing that I wanted to ask you, when you first came in, did you have like a penitentiary role model? Like, was there an older guy where you said, hey, I like him, I kind of want to be up under his wing, or was you just totally? Because we got a lot of youngsters that watch this, and a lot of people that watch these channels, believe it or not, are on probation. They're getting ready to go to prison, stuff like that. And they don't know what to do when they get in there. Like, did you have some guy that you said, man, I ain't trying to disrespect you or anything, but like get up under his wing?
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like a lot of the dudes that were in bike clubs or bike club associates that were in prison, they're motorcycle clubs. Them are the dudes I gravitated to. They were older. They'd been in some shit in prison before I got there. Those are the guys I listened to. Those are the guys I hung out with. Those are the guys that I respected, they never steered me in the wrong direction. I can say
here's my next question. No, listen, you got me bad when to say this because you became the guy that everybody respected, that the new guys would look up to and stuff like that. Did you ever steer anybody in the wrong direction, or did you try to
No,
keep
because
everybody
that's
straight?
not, that's not our gig. You make them, don't break them.
Right,
That's
I
what I
believe
was
that.
saying. Like when I went to, when I was in Corcoran, and when I went to CMC West, I had a couple little homeboys there that were young. And by now, what they do is they don't want somebody on the yard. They call it doing a removal. They'll send two guys to jump on somebody in front of the fucking cops, which lets the cops know we don't want this guy in the yard, and they ruin the guy's career over whatever. So I had a little homeboys that had just gotten out of the hole for removing somebody prior to me getting there. And I told them, hey, look, man, we're from San Diego. Fuck these dudes. Next time they tell you got to do something, you tell them fuck off. You come and see me. You don't do nothing on this yard that these guys tell you to do without coming to see me. Fuck these dudes. We're from San Diego. We run our own fucking crew. And I had a crew of about 4 or 5 homeboys that were youngsters. I did the same thing in Corcoran. They had some asshole thought he was running the yard. He was a dope fiend. I had my cell. He was younger, had a life sentence. He had 4 or 5 dudes that ran around with him. They're all from different counties. And they asked me, what do we do if this guy tells us to do something? I said, tell him to go show you how to do it, and you'll do the next one.
Right.
And about 2 months went by, and they come running up to me when I got off work, on the yard, and they're all excited, and they told me, basically, he told them, a couple of these youngsters, they had to put in some work because this guy owed money to another race. And they told him exactly what I said, hey, you go do it and show us how to do it, and we'll do the next one. Right. And I go, what'd he do? And they go, he didn't do nothing, just like you said, because I told him, he's not going to bust a grape. And
he was trying to catch some youngsters and just trick them into go doing basically, huh, man?
Well, he was trying to ruin them,
Yeah.
Get him a stabbing, get him sent to the shoe, ruin all them youngsters are out now. They had life sentences. One of them had life without plus 15 to life, and he's on the streets in the Bay Area living good.
Nice, respect to him.
I don't. You got to make them, don't break them. Sometimes shit has to happen. Unfortunately, prison's a fucked up environment, but for the most part, it's like. What they say about war? It's long periods of boredom with interrupted by short
terrorizing ass moments.
Yeah, short spurts of excitement. And so when I was in CMC, they got CMC East, which is cell living. CMC West is dorms, and CMC East is a mainline prison, but it's white dudes aren't supposed to go there because they have some questionable characters over there. But we all went over there for medical, so you see guys from over there. So if guys had an issue with that, they could have got off. So they started a long-term offender program over there. The parole board started this program. So in my mind, it's like, they're going to start releasing us. If you take this program, you'll probably be top of the list to get out. They have already been releasing guys for about 3 years now. And so, I told all the white dudes on my yard, hey, I'm going over there to take that program. They're like, that's bullshit. You're not going over there. We're not supposed to go over there. I said, I'm going over there. Then about a month went by. I go, hey, I took the assessment to go take that program.
So you literally told them, you let it be known?
Yeah, that's bullshit, bro. You're not going over there. You're just bullshitting us. And then another month went by. I go, hey, I'm packing my property right now. We live in a dorm. I said, I'm packing my property. I'm going over there right now. If you got something to say, we can fucking go in the TV room and handle it. They're, it's all good, bro. We know you're a lifer. You got to do that program. It's all good. Go, it's all good.
Right.
And then about 6 months later, some other white dudes come over. They go, yeah, as soon as you left, you're a no good piece of shit, So as soon as you're gone, they're fat mouthing you,
Yeah, that's how it's up. But I tell you what, they didn't want to get in that TV room with Big Mitch, did they?
Yeah. When I was on that West Yard, I did knock some dude's teeth out, but so I went over to that program, and it's like anger management, substance abuse, family relations.
Was it like group therapy type shit?
Yeah, they have like 5 or 6 different groups you go to, and program was created by the Board of Prison Terms for lifers, you know, so it's their program, you know, and so I took the program. I had a single cell when I lived over there, and there were some guys over there that were lifers doing the program. I just kicked it with them. One of them's out living down here by me. You know, we helped each other through the program. I interviewed a black dude, Dwan. He was a mentor in the program. He actually helped me get out of prison. You know, I went to board. About 2 years took me to get that. I was coming up on the end of my 5-year denial when I was finishing that program, you know, and
oh shit! So they put you on a 5-year. They call it a set off here. They gave you 5 years.
Yeah, for this selling tobacco, I got a 5-year denial. See.
Oh shit, man.
So I went to board, and I had this board commissioner. His name's Randy Grounds, you know, and he used to be the warden at Soledad when I was there, and so everyone goes, "Oh, that's the worst board member there is. That guy's a fucking asshole," you know. And I'm like, "Really?" They go, "Oh man, I feel sorry for you," you know. And so I'm like, "All right," you know. And so my lawyer goes, "Oh no, he's just like you guys." I go, "What do you mean like us?" He's a fucking cop. You know what? She goes, "No. Look, this guy trained Ultimate Fighter. He was a Marine.
Oh shit.
You know, he's a stand-up guy. He's a man's man. Just be straight with him. As long as your victim isn't a woman, a child, or a cop, you're good."
Nice.
So all right, you know. So I went in there. My hearing lasted 2 hours and 15 minutes. Was the easiest board hearing I ever had. You know, easy questions. I was straight with them, and found me suitable for parole. And after the hearing, he told me, "Hey, look, I could have denied you parole because of that write-up for smuggling tobacco." I go, "I know." And he goes, "Don't ever take the easy way out again." You know, I said, "I won't."
Okay,
And,
this is something here that Texas people are not going to understand. And the only reason I even know what you're talking about is because I watched on YouTube the Charles Manson parole hearing one time.
Yeah.
How we do it here, every individual prison has a parole, usually a parole lady, okay? And they'll call you when it's close to your time, and you go in her office, and it's a one-on-one interview, and she assesses you. Everything from how you're groomed to how you're smelling to how your posture is. You know, they're experts at reading people. You know what I'm saying? You have to go into a room full of people. What's that parole board hearing like? What do they do to y'all?
Well, it's actually only 2 board members, the district attorney, my lawyer, and me. Okay. But only people that go in front of the parole board in California, guys that have term to life. If you have a life top, everyone in California gets a set term, except for kidnap, attempted murder, and murder. So we had a life sentence. So
no, I didn't know that at all.
It's a fucked up deal. If you get a fucked up board member, you're done. I mean, it's not good. They do you dirty, you know. But
so you had two of them at that time agreed. It's time.
Yeah, and they're appointed by the governor, so they're political appointees, you know.
And did they tell you right then, or do you got to wait a while to decide?
Yeah, they tell you we find you suitable for parole. But after the hearing, you know, he told me also, he goes, you know, guys like you are our biggest asset. And I said, well, you know, what do you mean? He goes, you got a story to tell, and people need to hear it. And he goes, when you're able to come back in these prisons, I want you to come back in here and tell your story to guys in here. And so that's kind of why I do my YouTube. And
I'm proud of you. Anyway, I'm gonna say something to that. You actually said something during this interview that was probably the most powerful deterrent I've ever heard in my life anybody say, and that was the fact that you got to a point where you were praying for your own death in there, man. And you got to that point after you were convicted, after you didn't have no more problems. Mitch wasn't having no problems with the people. Mitch was bad tired of being there, right?
Yeah. You know, you just feel like your life is just, you know, like you're just caught in this thing, man, that you can't get out of. And it's never going to get past this. You will always just have this. It might get worse, but you're never going to get past this. You're never going to get, you know. Right. Yeah, it was fucked up, man.
Yeah, well, I appreciate like hell you saying that, brother, and keeping it real, because there's very few men that's going to be that honest. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people going to come say, them 38 was a breeze, man. I know it wasn't. No, it's definitely 38 months. It's gonna be those times, 38 years is unbelievable. You know what I mean? Oh, when you got that answer, how long did it take before you hit the streets?
Well, the parole board has 120 days to review your case, and then the governor has 30 days to review your case. They can both reverse the suitability. So I waited 122 days. 100. They told me, hey, the governor took no action. You're going home. But
so you literally had to wait them days to find out.
Yeah, I went home after 122 days after my hearing. And what's fucked up is they had a riot on the yard 5 days before I paroled. And I think a couple guys got killed and 8 dudes got stabbed. It was a race riot. And so
did you have to participate in that riot on your last days?
I paroled from a lockdown.
God damn, that's crazy.
So
you did.
Yeah. And it was a miracle I got out, really.
That's a rough story, Mitch. I want you to do me a favor now. For the people that are watching, that are facing, maybe, I know they email me all the time, and there's a lot of guys facing a lot of shit. What's your advice for a guy like that? As far as, because check this out. I always got caught midstream. I never got to prepare myself, nothing like that. You know what I mean? For the guys that are out there getting ready to do a big number or likely to do a big number, what's your advice with them? Do you recommend that they free their woman, like you said, go live their life? And let me do this shout out to the Prison Wives Support Group on Facebook, because I'm actually one of the only men that they let in the Prison Wives group because they know about this channel. And they break my heart, Mitch. I swear to God, I made a post telling you ladies break my heart as much. I never understood a woman could miss a man so bad. They cry over their man in public. They do everything.
Yeah, I didn't know there was such is that a YouTube channel?
No. It's a Facebook group. I'll send you a link to it. They'll let you
send me that link. I have to hook my old lady up with that. Now, like if you're sitting in the county jail or you're on bail, you're going to prison or whatever, if you're on a cell phone in prison, which you shouldn't be, and watching this or whatever,
They are.
I would just leave it up to your girl, I knew what I was facing, and we got a daughter involved, and I was just like, but she maintained contact with me. It just, they took our family visits away, and it's just like, you have to make appointments to get visits now. Visiting's 2 days a week by appointment only. It used to be 7 days a week. Walk right up anytime you wanted to visit. We had family visits where you could go out for 2 days in an apartment, kick it with your wife, eat, kick it.
Is that how you make
all that way?
Did you make your child while you was in prison?
That's another story, but so I remember our last family visit, she was like, I don't care if you never get out as long as we have this. And then they took that away, and so I would just leave it up to the girl, if you can maintain a friendship with her, if you're doing a long stretch of time, and you can deal with the fact that she's out in the world living her life and wants to maintain a friendship with you, or, whatever kind of agreement you can live with, I would leave it up to your girl. And I'm going to tell you something, man, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now today if it wasn't for my wife,
Yeah, no, I see. Yeah, you got a great wife. She participates in the show and everything. You know what I mean? It's awesome.
Yeah, man. She's spectacular.
So listen to this, Mitch. Oh, this ain't got nothing to do with the video. I'm gonna send that to you, and I beg you to get your wife in there immediately and tell her to start giving these women some words of advice, because I can only do it from the men's side. And let me tell you something. You will see, it'll make you sick when you see what some of these women are doing, because they have some men that are literally trying to control them from the inside. They don't want them to go out, don't want them to go eat, don't want them to live their life. And I've never in my life wanted none of my family, friends, or women to do their time with me. You know what I mean? You gotta let them live your life, brother.
Yeah, your women and your mothers, fathers, especially your mothers and your wives and your daughters. I mean, they're doing time right along with you. Anyone that, trying to control your wife or your girlfriend or whatever from prison, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of that's a negative to me. I mean,
me too. I
love my wife, and I don't want to control her life. I want to share in her life. I want her to share in my life. And that's what that's about. And I'm going to tell you something, man. If you got a woman that loves you, she's willing to hang out with you while you're in prison or be your wife or whatever it is you got going on, you're lucky. Don't abuse her. just be honest with her, tell her what you're going through. She's going to be the only person that you can really trust while you're in there. I mean, spare the horrifics of what's going on, but just let her know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're going through, man, and she'll be there.
Man, you said something real, man. You're definitely you're the big homie, Mitch. You said something right there too that I firmly believe in. No matter what pressure I was feeling, no matter how bad things got or whatever, I would never ever tell somebody on the outside if something's going wrong. It just didn't help. It worried them, stressed them out, and literally would kill them physically. You know what I mean? Like I literally every time I would say everything's great.
When I was in Corcoran, you walk down to the end of the yard and there's a corner gate and there's a gate there and you push the buzzer and they pop the gate and you walk over to the visiting room, It's a level 4 yard, 3B. So I'm pushing the buzzer and I look over. There's this Mexican guy on this dude's back and he's stabbing him. Bam, bam, bam. He stabbed him like 25 times and he's just stabbing the shit out of this dude. And I'm like 30 feet away pushing the buzzer. I'm just like looking like, and I keep pushing the buzzer like, come on, motherfucker, open that gate, And they popped the gate. I went out to my visit. I went out to the patio, and then the alarm went off, and she goes, what's that? I got nothing, But, I just saw this dude getting the shit stabbed out of him. He almost died. And now 30 seconds later, I'm on a visit with my wife,
Yeah, that's rough.
But I spared her the details, I mean, it's not. They don't need to know all that kind of shit, because it just makes them worry. Just let them know, hey, love's a pretty powerful thing, man. And when a woman loves you, dude, it's they'll be there for you, but don't abuse it,
Man, that's what I'm saying. I might post this little clip right there saying because there's too many men out there. And ladies, don't let yourself be abused, man. You literally are the only thing that man has. And if he's out here abusing you from the inside, guess what he'll probably do to you from the outside? It ain't, I don't know. I'm not into that. You know what I mean? No, man. That's your queen. You know what I mean? That's literally your queen, your lifeline. The only thing you have at that time, man. You gotta worship that, not treat it bad.
But, like it's not just women. It's like if you got a road dog, you got a dude in the joint or on the street who's your fucking friend, and he's your. Like my friend I went down to see today, dated 45 years. We're in prison together. I love him to death. We would never jeopardize our relationship as friends, brothers, by abusing them. You don't abuse your friends, and you definitely don't abuse your wife or your girl because that's your best friend, so.
Absolutely.
Don't abuse them, I mean, it's a give and take deal, man.
So I got the last question I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to let you give out all your info, show your artwork again and everything, is what advice do you have? Because you're doing good, man. And I know your wife helps you and everything like that. But what advice do you have for people coming home right now? Because this is the deal. There's a lot of men that did way less bids than you, claiming to be institutionalized, claiming they can't get their life together, the world's after them and everything. What's your advice to that type of mentality, man? Tell them snap out of it. What does Mitch say?
I don't know, man. Like, when I first started doing the programs in the joint, different types of psychotherapy shit, they call it, category this, category that. Some of them older cats that were in motorcycle clubs, they were doing them same programs with me. And they're like, hey, that's pretty, that guy, that information we got tonight's pretty cool. Oh, that therapist, he's and I'm like, they were letting me know it was okay to be in programs and learn shit. So like, learn something about your fucking self and be honest with yourself, because life really is not that hard. If your aspirations are, the moon, don't get disappointed if it takes you a long time to get there. I'm still climbing uphill, man. Like my friend down the hill says, he goes, I don't have a lot of money, but I'm rich. I'm satisfied. Like my wife kind of, I'd say, man, she'd be like when we got monetized for YouTube, we had 1,000 subscribers. We had no viewing time. We made like $50, and she's like, look, we made $50. I go, man, that'd be cool if we could make, this. And she goes, hey, dummy, sit in that for a minute. You just made $50.
53 bucks. Yeah, man.
Whatever. Just sit in it. Every accomplishment you got, just sit in it for a moment and dig it, Don't be in a fucking hurry. When I got out of prison, my friend Mark came to see me from Orange County. He got out before me, and he goes, look, it's going to take you a year to assimilate out here. Because in a year, you're going to be assimilated into society. You're going to have your program set. You're going to be all right. It's going to take you about a year. And he was right. It took me about a year to figure out my little deal, you know, and I'm still learning. I've been out over 4 years. I'm off parole. You know, I don't make a lot of money off my art and my shirts, but I make a little bit. And, you know, every little bit's a success, man. You know.
I'll tell you what, brother, just keep going because listen, I told my chick at the time, I'm not with her anymore right now, but I told her at the time when I started this channel that I had a 5-year dream, a 5-year goal. I said, I won't judge this channel in 1 year. I won't judge it in 2 years. Well, I told her this, if I'm totally failing, I will not continue. But if I stay growing, stay, you know, enjoying it, doing things with it, then this is a 5-year plan. And I look at it, I still got 3 more years to go. You know what I mean? And it's doing okay. I look at some guys, shout out to all the men that are just blowing up quick. You know, some of them have opportunities and chances that I didn't get or you didn't get, stuff like that. But we'll get our time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, network. And I urge anybody from Texas Prison Stories that is watching this, man, make sure you go subscribe to this guy, get his numbers up and watch his show.
You know, one thing I liked about your channel, and it's kind of why, you know, I thought we should hook up, is you're not into the sensational bullshit, you know,
No.
You know, like, I don't want to say their names. There's guys that get on here and lie, act like drill sergeants, and they tell stories that are untrue. Other guys are flamboyant.
I know it's you, 38 in, you could probably spot a fake prison story a mile away, huh? I know I spotted.
Yeah, but I'm just saying these guys are doing stuff to blow up. They're doing the sensational shit, and you know, that's not my style, and that's really not your style either. You're more kind of down to earth, and you're growing. You're doing good, you know.
I'm trying, brother, man. I swear, none of these big platforms will let me come on, man. I can't get on no channel,
That's
channel.
right.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm steady doing mine, and I'm steady carving my little groove in. You know what I'm saying? I'm also a truck driver, and I can weld real good too.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that I learned coming home from the feds, and it was my goal. When I found out when we got to this, we didn't have much shit going on in the feds, but at the halfway house, they had schools that you could go to, and they were free. And I literally went to the welding school, knowing that I was going to be a truck driver. Yeah. But I said, hey, this is still a talent that I can learn, something I can do, fall back on. You know what I mean? And if anything, I can fix things on my truck if I ever own one, stuff like that. Yeah. So I mean, like, do you feel that you still are learning and getting with your art? Do you get any better at your art?
Every day, man. Every day. You know.
So after all these years, you're still getting better?
Every day. You learn every day, not just my art, just everyday life, you know.
I agree.
I'm lucky my wife supports. I built this shed. It's like a little art studio. I get to do my art now. My wife supports that. And, you know, it's a good deal, man. You know, there's going to be guys and women and men out here, friends that are going to help you along the way. You know, it's cool to be able to help other people. But one thing they taught us is it's difficult for some guys to accept help, you know. So
it's kind of like, it's always been, listen, brother, I'm that type of guy that will loan everybody money, don't even care, tell them, man, don't worry about giving it back. And when I'm dead broke, I can't even pick up the phone and call and ask nobody. I don't know why I'm like that, man.
Yeah, it's hard, you know, but that's, you know, there are people that are going to help you and support you along the way, no matter who you are. You know, just accept it, man, and listen to people, you know, the people, everyone's got someone that loves them, you know.
I found through this journey that the strangers have supported me the most. People that I've actually became friends with, some subscribers, things like that, got to know some.
Yeah.
And they're the most supportive people. Some of them from out of state, other things. And man, I appreciate the hell out of them. Last year, I literally broke my foot and I was out of work for 3 months. I don't list the Cash App on the screen. None of that. I never talk about it or anything like that. But, you know, I guess they seen something in my eyes or something, heard the story. I don't know what it was, brother, but I was literally going and getting this super chat, all kind of stuff coming through because they knew I needed it. You know what I'm saying?
Amazing,
right after I went back to work, it stopped, and I didn't care one little bit. But when I needed it, they came through for me, and it was a blessing, man.
On our channel, we go live on Wednesday nights, and that's, you know, we call it a Hard Intentions family, man, because a lot of these people that watch our channel are like family to us, you know?
I agree. And you know what? Amazing. They look at you like that. You really start to get to know a man as you watch him. That's the real facts. And and listen to them, especially a live video, Mitch, where you just really being yourself. You know what I mean? That's when they get to know you and they like you. And that's kind of what, like I said, man, since I've been doing this with my daughter by myself right now, I haven't had a lot of chance to watch it, but I've actually watched it from day one. I don't comment a lot because I don't want people thinking I'm in there trying to self-promote myself and none of that.
That's all good.
But I do pop in sometimes and say hi. You know what I'm saying? But I watch a lot of times and don't say anything, and that's the major thing. But oh man, brother, I appreciate the hell out of you coming on. I want you to tell. Do you got any social media that they can find, like an IG or anything? How do they buy your art?
I got Instagram is Mitch Smiley 790. I got Facebook, which I got a few Facebook pages. The one with the motorcycle painting, that's my Facebook page, and got Hard Intentions YouTube channel. We got hardintentions.com, which is where we sell shirts and prints of my art, stuff like that,
Yeah. Are you still doing custom stuff? Like somebody can order whatever they want from you?
Yeah, that's what that coyote painting is. That's a custom piece. And then I got another piece in the house I did for a guy's painting company. I did a logo for his painting company. And, I'm tattooing on a couple guys that got at me through YouTube and Instagram. And,
I was going to ask you about that. So you were tattooing too? Now, every good artist should make that little money.
Yeah,
man.
That's my introduction to art was through tattooing, Yeah.
That's nice. Surprised, man. Listen, you need to open up a shop out there, man. Hard Intention shop. I guarantee it'd be busy as hell.
I'd rather paint, tattooing's cool on a couple guys here and there, but a shop, I don't know if I could function in a shop, it's too much.
You never know. Listen, you can have a shop and let the other artists pay you to be there, and you got the name and the way to promote it, man. You might do it. You never know.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that painting, my father actually paints. He does it for fun. He's not a prolific artist or anything like that. Doesn't sell them. It's his relaxation. Is that something that I hate to go back to prison, but when you were on the inside and you're getting into your painting, would you be able to forget everything that was going on?
Dude, without my artwork, I would have never made it.
That's what I thought.
Really.
Yeah,
that's for real,
I know it, man. Hey, listen, you're a great dude, man. I appreciate it. And you know what? One thing I wanted to tell you, Cinemills TV. Guess what they told me? They said, hey, man, we would like you to come on. Mitch Smiley told us that he really likes your channel, and you're a great dude, man. And I appreciate the hell out that, Mitch. How about that?
If you can get on their channel, it's cool. They're pretty cool guys.
I told him right now, I just don't have the ability to do it because I can't just leave my daughter right now and everything. But I would love to go out there and do it. I probably will go do that with them someday.
I don't think they do the long distance shit like we do,
No, they don't. And that's cool. I want to go out to California one day. You know what I mean? I'll go out there. I've been out to LA one time, man, and that's it. So shout out to Cinemills TV. When's your interview dropping with them, Mitch?
I have no idea. It's on them.
You don't even know, huh? They've been asking for it. Have you seen in their comments? People are asking, when's that Mitch going to drop? They're ready, man. So Cinemills, get to that. We're ready to see Mitch, man. And then once know Mike.
Pretty cool guys.
It really is. Mitch, thank you so much.
They have a nice studio too.
I appreciate you coming on. You just gave a lot of drops some gems, a lot of knowledge. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see you now.
Okay, I was telling you, thank you for coming on, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, Mitch. There's not a whole lot of guys in this prison genre that I say I would go ask some advice for in prison, or I would go, to see what the hell's going on. Is you and Dr. Larry, a couple other ones, all the old school guys, man. You know what I mean? That these guys my age, I don't need no advice from them. I need it from the older old school guys that's literally been there, done it. I'm 41 and you did 38 years. So all my viewers think about that. I'm a dad. I've been through a lot of shit. And literally Mitch did prison my entire life, man. That's great.
Yeah, I did 38, man. I wouldn't mind chatting with old Larry once. That'd be cool.
Yeah. He likes you, man. He always talks about your channel too. You know what I'm saying? You and him.
It's a black dude, right? That did Texas time, right?
42 in Texas.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind chatting with him sometime. He seems pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. I talk to him every day. I let him know you said that. He probably will, man, for sure. He don't really, his channel, he just keeps it pretty much himself, but he'll go on the channel every now and then. You know what I mean? He's kind of on that. He's 42 and he did it the rough way, hard way. He got 2 bodies on the inside back in the day, shit like that. You know, it's not a easy road that he took, and he had it rough coming home. You know what I mean? But he's here now.
Well, he did his thing back when it was different. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did his thing. Shout out Mr. Larry, 42 straight years, and you know I love you, Mr. Larry. That's like family to me, man. Mitch, thank you so much, brother. I'm gonna tap this out. We're gonna close it up. It's an hour and a half. Don't go nowhere. I'm fixing to hit the end of recording, and then I'm gonna ask you something about California real quick about my
it's been
family.
a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Texas Prison Story family, y'all better. I'm gonna be mad at y'all if I don't run this video and go look at Mitch's numbers and see them subscribers go up, man. Y'all tap in with this guy. He's a great dude, man. I'll catch y'all later. Thank you so much for being here.